Okay, so pre-trip inspection. In front of the truck, we have the general overview. There is nothing cracked, damaged, or loose. All my lights, lenses, and reflectors are properly mounted and secured, proper color, and they are clean. Alright, now I'm going to look underneath the truck. There is no leaks. The truck is not leaning, which would indicate suspension damage. Alright, so we got passenger side of the engine compartment. General overview, nothing is cracked, damaged, or loose. There are no abrasions, bumps, or cuts, and nothing is leaking. I'm going to go to my radiator, which is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Nothing is leaking. Have my radiator reservoir properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. My cap is present and properly secured. Now, I have my alternator, which is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My belts have no abrasions, bumps, or cuts. They are not frayed. They have no less than three-quarter inch play. My alternator wires, properly mounted and secured, no abrasions, bumps, or cuts. Now we got the water pump, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking. The water pump is gear driven. Alright, now we're going to move on to the exhaust. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. It is not leaking. Leaking would indicate soot around the clamps. Alright, now we're going to move on to the driver's side.
You missing anything? Or
Did I miss something? Alright, so now we're moving on to the driver's side. Underneath the hood, overview. Nothing is cracked, damaged, or loose. Nothing is leaking. There are no abrasions, bumps, or cuts in any of the hoses. Alright, so first off, I'm going to go with my radiator. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking. Got my reservoir. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. I'm going to go to my windshield washer reservoir, which is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. The cap is present and properly secured. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my air pump. It is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. Check my hoses. There are no abrasions, bumps, or cuts. They are not leaking, which would be audible. I'm going to move down to my oil fill tube and dipstick. It's from the combo. Actually, no, this is my oil tube, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose. The cap is present, properly mounted and secured. We have the oil dipstick, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. I would check the oil level by pulling the dipstick, wiping it off, putting it back in, taking it out, and checking the level. It is at proper operating level. Okay, now I'm going to move to my steering rod. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or bent. My U-joints, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or bent. The U-joints have no debris. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my gearbox. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. Now I have my power steering pump reservoir, which is properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. My hoses have no abrasions, bumps, or cuts. They are not leaking. Have my power steering pump, which is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. It is gear driven. Okay, now I'm going to move down to my pitman arm, my drag link, my steering arm, and my knuckle. They're all properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking, not cracked, damaged, or loose. They are properly secured with castle nuts and cotter pins. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my leaf springs, hangers, and shackles. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose. There are no missing leaf springs. I have my U-bolts and my bump stop, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My bump stop has no abrasions, bumps, or cuts. I have my shock, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. Leaking would be hydraulic fluid. My shock is properly mounted at top and bottom. The bushings properly mounted and secured, no play. Alright, now I'm going to move on to my brake chamber and clamp. Oh, okay, I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to move on to my tie rod. Tie rod, properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, damaged, loose, or bent. Alright, now I'm going to work my way to my... Just said it too. My brake chamber and clamp, which are properly mounted and secured, not cracked, loose, or damaged, and they are not leaking, which would be audible. Here I have my brake chamber hose and ABS line. They have no abrasions, bumps, or cuts, and they are not leaking, which would be audible. Alright, I have my slack adjuster and my slack adjuster and push rod, which are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or loose. When the brakes are released, I would have no more than 1 inch of play in the slack adjuster. Okay? Now I'm going to move on to my brake drum and shoes. Are properly mounted and secure, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Free from any illegal welds. There is no oil or grease present. And my brake shoes are not dangerously thin. Okay? Now I'm going to move on to my inner rim. My inner rim is properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. There are no illegal welds. We have, oh yeah, and it's free from oil or grease. I have my inner and my outer sidewalls on my tire, properly mounted and secured. Not cracked, damaged, or loose. No abrasions, bumps, cuts, or illegal patches. My tire treads have no abrasions, bumps, or cuts, no illegal patches, with a minimum of 4 30-seconds tread depth. These are virgin radials. No recaps. Alright? We're going to move on to the outer rim. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. No illegal welds. Got lug nuts. Properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose. None are missing. Looseness would indicate rust or shiny metal shavings. We have the wheel hub, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. You would check the level by popping the cap, or if applicable, has a sight glass. We have the valve stem, properly mounted and secured, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and is not leaking. Has proper metal cap. And I would check the air pressure with the tire pressure gauge with a minimum of 100 psi. Okay.
All right.
Now we are going to move.
Anybody got any questions so far? On that.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Good.